Have you ever noticed how some people seem determined to pull you into conflict? It can happen anywhere. At work, someone questions your abilities in front of everyone. At a family gathering, an old criticism suddenly resurfaces. Online, a stranger leaves a comment designed for one purpose: to make you angry. Your heart beats faster. Your thoughts race. Every instinct tells you to answer immediately, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But before you respond, consider something. The strongest people are not those who always have the perfect comeback. They are the ones who refuse to let another person's behavior dictate their own. That was one of the greatest lessons taught by the Stoic philosophers nearly 2,000 years ago, and today it may be more valuable than ever. By the end of this video, you will understand why remaining calm isn't weakness, why most arguments are traps disguised as opportunities, and how one simple shift in perspective can make it almost impossible for anyone to control your emotions. Let's begin. Most people believe arguments begin with words. The Stoics believe they begin much earlier, inside the mind. When someone insults you, criticizes you, or deliberately tries to embarrass you, it feels as though they have taken control of the situation. But have they? Not yet. The moment belongs to you until you hand it over. Many people provoke others because they crave a reaction. Some want attention. Others seek validation. A few simply enjoy seeing someone lose their composure because it gives them a temporary feeling of superiority. Think about the last time someone tried to upset you. Did they truly gain anything from their words alone? Or did their victory only begin the moment you allowed anger to take over? This is why the Stoics rarely focus on changing other people. Human behavior has always been unpredictable. Some individuals will be kind. Others will be unfair. Some will misunderstand you no matter how carefully you explain yourself. Trying to control all of them is impossible. Learning to control yourself is not. That single realization changes everything. The philosopher Epictetus understood this better than almost anyone. His life was filled with hardship. Before becoming one of history's most respected teachers, he lived as a slave, experiencing circumstances that most people today can hardly imagine. Yet, despite having so little control over his external world, he discovered something remarkable. Events themselves do not automatically create suffering. Our interpretation of those events does. Consider two people receiving exactly the same criticism. One spends days replaying it in their mind, becoming more resentful each hour. The other listens, reflects for a moment, and moves forward with complete peace. The criticism was identical. The experience was completely different. The difference was never the words. It was the meaning each person attached to them. Once you understand this, you begin to realize that many insults only have power because we silently agree to carry them. This brings us to one of the most powerful habits practiced by Marcus Aurelius. As Emperor of Rome, he governed one of the largest empires in history. Every decision he made attracted praise from some people and harsh criticism from others. Imagine living under that level of constant judgment. Instead of becoming defensive, Marcus trained himself to ask a different question whenever someone criticized him. Is there any truth in what I just heard? Notice how different this is from asking, how do I prove them wrong? If the criticism contained genuine truth, then it became an opportunity to improve. If it contained no truth at all, then it deserved no emotional investment. Either way, anger served no purpose. This mindset quietly removed the power from every insult before it had the chance to grow. Imagine how different your conversations would become if every criticism passed through this simple filter. Is it useful? Or is it simply noise? Most people never pause long enough to ask. Now, picture a familiar situation. You're at work. A colleague casually dismisses your contribution during an important meeting. The room falls silent. Everyone looks in your direction. Your mind immediately begins constructing a defense. You want to interrupt. You want everyone to know they're wrong. But instead, you pause, you breathe, then you calmly ask, can you explain what makes you see it that way? Something unexpected happens. The tension changes. Instead of fueling an argument, you've shifted the conversation toward clarity. If the criticism is reasonable, you've learned something valuable. If it's unfair, the weakness in their argument often becomes obvious without you raising your voice. Calmness has a strange effect. It forces other people to reveal their intentions. Those who seek honest discussion usually welcome thoughtful questions. Those who only wanted conflict often lose interest when they don't receive the emotional reaction they expected. Your silence becomes stronger than their accusation. The Stoics often described anger as borrowing strength from your future. For a few seconds, it feels powerful. It feels satisfying. You believe you're taking control. But afterward, what remains? Regret, embarrassment, damaged relationships. Words that cannot be taken back. Anger promises victory while quietly collecting interest you'll eventually have to pay. Wisdom works differently. It may feel difficult in the moment, but its rewards continue long after the conversation has ended. Every time you choose patience over impulse, you strengthen a habit that becomes easier the next time life tests you. And life will continue testing you, not because the world is unfair, but because difficult people have always existed and always will. The question is no longer whether someone will try to provoke you. The real question is this: when that moment arrives, who will be in control, them or you? So far, we've learned that true strength begins with mastering our reactions rather than controlling other people. But this raises an important question. Does remaining calm mean allowing people to disrespect you? Absolutely not. One of the biggest misunderstandings about Stoicism is the belief that it encourages silence at any cost. Many imagine a Stoic as someone who quietly accepts every insult, every injustice, and every act of disrespect without ever speaking up. That couldn't be further from the truth. The Stoics never taught people to become passive. They taught them to become intentional. There's a world of difference between reacting emotionally and responding wisely. Imagine someone crosses a line with you. An emotional reaction might sound like shouting, making personal attacks, or saying something you'll regret later. A Stoic response is very different. It is calm, it is clear, and it leaves no room for confusion. Instead of trying to hurt the other person, you simply state your boundary. That isn't acceptable. I disagree with what you just said. We can continue this conversation when we're both calmer, short, respectful, confident. Notice what these responses have in common. They don't seek revenge. They don't invite endless arguments. They simply communicate self-respect. Real confidence rarely needs to raise its voice. The Roman philosopher Seneca observed something fascinating about anger. He believed anger creates the illusion of strength while secretly taking away our freedom. Think about it. When someone knows exactly how to make you explode, who is actually in control, the louder your reaction becomes, the easier you are to predict. Your emotions become buttons that anyone can press. But calmness is different. A calm person is difficult to manipulate because their decisions aren't made in the heat of the moment. Instead of reacting automatically, they choose deliberately. That choice is where true freedom lives. One reason the Stoics developed such remarkable composure was because they prepared themselves before difficult moments ever happened. They didn't wake up expecting every day to be perfect. In fact, they expected challenges. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he would likely encounter selfishness, dishonesty, impatience, arrogance, and misunderstanding. At first, this sounds pessimistic. It's actually incredibly practical. When you expect that difficult people exist, you're no longer shocked when you meet one. Surprise often fuels emotional reactions. Preparation weakens them. Imagine knowing you'll attend a meeting where one particular coworker always criticizes your ideas. Instead of hoping they won't say anything this time, spend a few minutes imagining the situation beforehand. Picture yourself listening calmly. Picture yourself taking a breath before speaking. Picture yourself answering with confidence instead of frustration. By mentally rehearsing your response, you've already won half the battle before it even begins. Professional athletes visualize success long before competition begins. The Stoics practice the same principle, but with everyday life. Of course, even with preparation, some situations still hurt. Sometimes someone betrays your trust. Sometimes a friend disappoints you. Sometimes words leave a mark that doesn't disappear overnight. The Stoics understood this better than most people realize. They weren't emotionless. They experienced grief, loss, disappointment, betrayal. Marcus Aurelius led an empire through war and disease. Seneca faced political exile and constant uncertainty. Epictetus endured slavery before becoming a respected philosopher. Their wisdom wasn't born from comfortable lives. It was forged through hardship. This is why they never expected painful emotions to vanish instantly. Feeling anger isn't failure. Staying trapped inside anger is the real danger. There is an important difference. An emotion is temporary. Resentment is a decision repeated over time. One visits. The other moves in permanently. The Stoics encourage us to let emotions pass through us without allowing them to become part of our identity. Observe the feeling. Learn from it. Then release it. Holding on to yesterday's anger only steals today's peace. Another powerful shift comes from changing how we view the people who provoke us. Most hurtful behavior comes from insecurity, fear, pride, or ignorance. People who feel at peace rarely spend their time trying to disturb someone else's peace. That doesn't excuse harmful behavior. Boundaries are still necessary. Consequences still matter. But understanding that another person's actions often reflect their inner struggles prevents us from carrying unnecessary hatred. Imagine watching someone throw stones into a lake. The water ripples for a moment, then it becomes still again. The lake doesn't chase the person. It doesn't hold on to the disturbance forever. It simply returns to its natural state. Your mind can become like that, not because life stops throwing stones, but because you've learned not to remain disturbed long after the moment has passed. Here's a simple practice you can begin today. The next time someone provokes you, don't answer immediately. Take one slow breath. Ask yourself 3 questions. Is this true? If it is, what can I learn? If it isn't, why should I surrender my peace over it? Those few seconds create space between emotion and action. And in that space, wisdom has a chance to speak. The more often you practice this, the stronger your emotional discipline becomes. Not overnight, but little by little, conversation by conversation, challenge by challenge. In the end, Stoicism isn't about winning arguments. It's about refusing to lose yourself. Every insult presents a choice. Every criticism becomes a crossroads. Every provocation asks the same silent question. Will you allow someone else to decide who you become in this moment? The Stoics answered that question with their lives. They understood that no one can truly steal your peace unless you hand it over willingly. Your character is your greatest possession. Protect it more carefully than your reputation. Guard it more fiercely than your pride, because reputations change, opinions change, circumstances change. But the person you become through repeated choices, that remains with you every single day. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this. You don't have to match their anger. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to win every argument. Sometimes, the strongest response is the one that preserves your peace while everyone else loses theirs. That is not weakness. That is mastery. And perhaps that is the greatest victory of all. If today's message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on a recent situation where you allowed someone else's words to disturb your peace. How might you respond differently next time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might encourage someone else who is learning the same lesson. And if you're committed to building a calmer, stronger, and more disciplined mind, subscribe and join us for more timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy that can transform the way you face life's everyday challenges. Until next time, guard your mind, strengthen your character, and remember, no one controls your inner world unless you give them permission.